Glad to have you inside the Channel 13 studios here on Facebook Live. Let us know where you're watching tonight. Tell us what city you're watching, and we'll give you a shout out over the next 15 minutes. Coming up on the big show tonight, we're going to be looking ahead toward our big story coming up on 13 News at 11. Friend of the show, Alan Carter, will be joining us. We're going to talk about the new CDC mask guidance that came out yesterday. What is a business allowed to do in terms of talking to customers that come in about whether or not you've been vaccinated? It's a question a lot of us have been asking. So we'll talk with Alan coming up in a moment. We've got a great story from our Rich Nye, who shows us a church on the south side of Indianapolis that saved some ducks today. Really sweet story. We're going to get into that. We're going to talk about this big North Split shutdown that begins tomorrow. If you drive and use the North Split, you are going to want to be hearing our conversation tonight and going to our WTHR Facebook page. But let's go ahead and begin our Friday evening with Angela, because everybody's got outdoor plans this weekend. We got the Grand Prix over at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway tomorrow. How's the rest of our Friday night looking, and how's the weekend going?
It was a fabulous Friday night.
Yeah.
We had comfortable temperatures in the 60s most of the evening. Grand Prix tomorrow out at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and the weather's going to cooperate. It's not going to be too hot. It's not going to be too cold. We might get a pop-up shower, but I think that's as people head home. If this actually holds together, 49 degrees at 8 a.m. Keep in mind those gates open at 7:30, and then up to 67 by noon, and then all afternoon close to 70 degrees with the green flag flying at 2:45.
Nice.
Mention that chance for a shower. We have very dry air in place, so as this weakening, disorganized weather system arrives, it's going to run into that dry air, so a lot of it's going to fall apart. But there is a chance we get a little bit of rain from about 4 p.m. for the western part of the state, 6, 7, 8 o'clock for the central part of the state, and then this moves east by 11 p.m. So I guess if we have to get a few showers over the weekend, the timing for this is pretty good. Late Saturday afternoon through Saturday night, and then all indications are this initial burst moves off to our east, and the focus for the rain on Sunday will be south. So go ahead and make the outdoor plans for the weekend. I really think if we get a couple of showers, they're going to be few and far between. Might be a little bit of light rain late afternoon, Saturday through Saturday night, and that's it.
That's good.
That is good.
We will take that, and we so deserve these 70-degree temperatures, don't we? Especially
after that cold Mother's Day. Remember, last
awful.
Sunday we had a couple of inches of rain, and I think 48 degrees was the high.
Yep.
We're going to be close to 70, and then looking ahead to next week, at least 180.
Love it.
Maybe more, maybe more.
That's awesome. Facebook friends jumping in tonight. Deanna watching from Gas City, Indiana. Bernie Egan joining us. It's been a while since we've had Bernie in the house. Good to have you. Zach is with us. Kathy joining us from the south side of Indy. Nancy joining us saying, missing Indy. She's from Wyoming tonight.
Aww.
So it's good to have you, Nancy, with us. Ashley, I have to work all weekend. I'm sorry about that, Ashley.
Yeah, me too.
But we're glad that you're with us tonight on this Friday night. All right, Angela, we'll get back to you coming up in just a moment, but we want to turn our attention now to the big story coming up on 13 News at 11. Everybody continues to be talking about the CDC new guidance with the masks and fully vaccinated people not having to wear the masks at all times, indoors or outdoors. A lot of people wondering, hey, what can businesses do? Can businesses ask for whether or not I've been vaccinated? So let's bring in friend of the show, Alan Carter. That's his story tonight. Alan, that was your assignment to go out and find out what you learned.
Yeah, you know, I think that there's just a lot of questions in general, right, about what can businesses do, what can't they do? Should you ask someone if they've been vaccinated if they come into the store? And so what I did tonight is I went and checked in with an attorney, someone that practices law. And the short answer is yes, businesses can ask you whether or not you've been vaccinated, and they can, if they decide that they don't want you to give you business at that store, that's also within their right. Now, if you think about it, right, this is something that's been going on for quite some time. You send your child to school, they have to produce vaccination records. In some cases, if you get onto a flight going to a certain country, you have to prove that you've either been vaccinated or maybe received treatment for a disease. So that is something that's already within practice that we're seeing currently. It is just a little bit different and obviously going to be on a much wider scale if businesses decide that they want to start doing this. in regards to COVID-19.
Why is it, Alan, do you think, that businesses are a little skittish about asking their employees whether or not they have been vaccinated, or, other people that may come into the business?
Yeah, Scott, I've talked to a couple of business owners, since this announcement came out from the CDC, and I'm really kind of hearing, two responses to that. The first one is a lot of businesses just don't know, they're business owners, they know about running their business, but they don't know a lot about medical law. And the easiest thing to do is to say, you know what, it's not something I just even want to deal with, not a headache that's worth the time. And the other headache that they want to avoid is, they don't want to be in charge of policing people about whether or not, can I see your vaccination card if you walk in? That's just sometimes more of a hassle than it's worth. And so, I think we're going to start to see that that's going to be either going to be blanket policies, or they're just going to continue to ask people to continue to wear their masks.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting story to watch tonight on 13 News at 11. We know you're still writing and editing. Alan Carter, hope you have a great weekend, and we'll see you tonight on 13 News at 11 with that story.
You too. Thanks, Scott.
All right, Alan, thanks so much. Also tonight at 11 o'clock, we're going to talk about which retail stores have already dropped mask mandates. There are several that have already gone ahead and done it, and there are other retail stores that have said, no, we're going to continue asking people to wear masks when they come into our location. All that part of our big story coverage tonight on 13 News at 11. Angela, in terms of Channel 13, as we move forward to Monday, we got some big news coming in terms of what we're all going to be doing as a staff inside the studio.
Yes, we're actually going to be able to stand next to each other. After more than a year,
I know.
a year and months counting. Yes, because we've been vaccinated.
Yep.
And because of the changes in the CDC guidelines,
Yeah.
so they're actually going to let us share a desk.
I know. It's going to be great.
It is.
I know. So we're so looking forward to that. That's coming up on Monday today. That's when we got the announcement from management. So we're all excited about that. So we'll be sharing an anchor desk on Monday. So very much looking forward to that.
And I know we talked about this in the meeting, and you may not know the exact answer. And I was listening, but it's medical, so I don't completely understand it. But we have a couple of our Facebook friends just putting HIPAA. But it doesn't apply to businesses, correct?
Doesn't apply to businesses,
So
according to
HIPAA
this attorney that Alan talked to tonight.
So HIPAA is strictly with doctors' offices sharing your medical information.
That appears to be the case.
Okay.
That's
okay.
right.
So I just wanted to clear that up because we did have a couple of Facebook friends just kind of type that in their comment.
Right.
But from what we're understanding, it's different from a business versus a doctor's office or a medical facility.
That appears to be what Alan was saying after talking with the attorney, and he may be able to flesh that out more as part of his coverage tonight coming up on the news at 11 o'clock. But I know that this is something that businesses and companies all across the country are asking and wondering, based on the CDC's recommendation that fully vaccinated people don't always have to wear a mask. There are still areas where you do, when you go to a hospital, when you get on a plane, when you visit a prison or a homeless shelter. There are some areas where you're still asked to wear a mask. And of course, the local guidelines can go ahead and supersede the guidelines that the CDC is putting into place. So, a city or a county could go ahead and say, look, in this particular business or at this particular sporting event, you still need to wear a mask. A case in point, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Okay.
The Speedway today, they're moving forward with people needing to wear masks, even though we're all outside at the track tomorrow for the Grand Prix. Everybody will be wearing masks. And so that's the agreement that they reached with the Marion County Health Department.
Okay, so what about Trader Joe's on 82nd Street?
Yep, they've
Trader
dropped it.
Joe's, they got rid of masks, so
Right.
they're saying if you're vaccinated, you don't have to wear one,
That's
but they're
right.
in Marion County. So where do they fall?
Now, that's a good question.
So there's still so much confusion.
Right. And of course, the thing that a lot of people are going to be wondering is, okay, the person who hasn't received the vaccine, they're going to just maybe take their mask down and say, okay, I'm done. I don't have to. I don't have to wear a mask anymore. I can go into Trader Joe's. They haven't been vaccinated. That's the issue.
Yes, and I think we talked a little bit about this last night. They're doing that, and that's their own health.
Right. Right. And people and children who may be under the age of 12, and people whose immune systems are compromised.
Yeah.
So, again, that's a discussion that's going to probably go on here beyond our Facebook time tonight.
And we had one other comment. What about somebody that, because of a pre-existing condition or something, they can't get the vaccine? So then I guess at that point, if it were me, I would continue to mask up
You bet.
and socially distance if I'm not able to protect myself in the way of a vaccine, or you still have the option to wear a mask and socially distance.
Right, and that would be the guidelines that CDC
Sure.
and just about every health professional that's out there would say is, if you are immunocompromised, yes, you should go ahead and continue to wear a mask. So anyway, we'll continue to talk about that, I'm sure, over the next days and weeks. We do want to let our viewers know, though, about the North Split, that closure that we've been talking about for days. That starts tomorrow. So if you use the North Split, you know, the old spaghetti bowl on the north side of Indianapolis, if you use that at all, you're going to need to find a different way around it. So without me getting into all the detours, as you take a look at drone cam 13 of the North Split, they're doing road construction and doing some upgrades on a roadway that's been around for 50 years. They're doing some road work, they're doing bridge work, and without getting into all the different detours based on what side of Indianapolis you would use the North Split, my encouragement tonight is that you go to WTHR.com, and in the search column, you type in North Split. The story will come up that Kelly Green put together, and she has the different detour maps. But please, 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 if you're using the detour map, this starts tomorrow, so don't be caught off guard. Make sure that you are paying attention to, you know, the various detours that we've got on WTHR.com, because we don't want you, you know, caught off guard as you're trying to get to the airport or trying to get downtown or trying to get to the south side or the north side. Make sure you plan ahead.
I think in our search engine, you should just put big mess. I'd be able to search that and not North Split, whatever, just mess.
Right.
And it would come up.
And this is going to be this is going to be part of our lives for the next year and a half.
Yes.
So this isn't going to be any quick, you know, couple of months and then we're back to using the North Split. We're going to have to get used to this. So this is going to be a long-term thing. So please, please, please make sure that you find a new route if you use the North Split here in Indianapolis. All right, let's talk ducks.
Okay.
All right, best story of the day, at least my favorite story of the day. Rich and I found that there is a church on the south side of Indianapolis that is taking care of ducks. Check this out.
You can see the cracked eggs next to Mama Duck, who is sitting on a dozen ducklings born Thursday in the courtyard of Southside Reformed Presbyterian Church.
The courtyard's obviously a safe and closed spot, you know, and it's just because of the even configuration of the eaves and all of that, really even a raccoon can't get in there. So it seems like a very safe place to them, and so far so good.
Ducks have nested here every year since 2003. David Hansen arrived 4 years ago and inherited the pastoral care of the fowl.
The spring march of the ducks, something like that. Keep going.
With his sophisticated equipment, Pastor Hansen directs Mama Duck to the door, and everyone follows.
There you go. That's good. Good girl. This duck today was very, very cooperative. She was really good to work with. She didn't make any charges at me, but I think she's the first one that I remember who didn't physically come at me.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Past the sanctuary, they waddle toward the light, guided by the pastor.
It does have a lot of imagery that's similar to the biblical metaphor of a shepherd and a sheep. And the mama duck, of course, is the primary caregiver in this situation. We just have to help her figure out what to do and how to get going in the right direction.
For the first time, the church courtyard has 3 nests this spring, with one more mama still waiting for her eggs to hatch.
Once outside, Mama Duck decides where to go. She almost took a lap around the church before leading her little ones down to the ditch for a drink and a splash. But there is danger outside the safety of the church. Mama decided to cross busy State Road 135 near Southport Road. Pastor Hansen provided traffic control and broom support. Only Mama knows their final destination, but they got a great start in church.
Isn't that just the best story?
That story over and over and over again.
I love the pastor out there with the broom, getting them across the busy road. I love that.
It's brilliant,
Yeah.
and Rich is brilliant. And what you probably don't know is he works for the most part alone.
Yeah.
So he shot all of that himself.
Yep.
He did all the interviews himself,
Yeah.
all the camera work. It's
Yeah.
great.
Well done, Rich Nye.
Good job.
Yeah, and we love sharing those fun stories with you here on Facebook. Doesn't always have to be serious and
No.
that kind of thing. So, all right. So for people just joining us, want to know about the weather, how does Saturday and Sunday look?
Mainly dry. We're going to call it mild and mainly dry. And I have to use mainly because
Yeah.
I do think we get a couple of showers or at least a thin band of light rain from about 4 p.m. to about 11 p.m. Saturday. And then that's it. This weather system, weak, disorganized, sits to our south and doesn't bring us a better chance for rain until we get past the weekend into early next week, near 70 both days.
Okay. And again, the race tomorrow at 2:45.
2:45.
Over there on the west side of Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Looking okay, you feel like?
I do. I think if that rain band actually does hold together, people may notice a few sprinkles or a shower as they head home from the track.
Got it. Okay. All right. We wish the fans a lot of fun
Yes,
tomorrow. I know
it's
this.
May.
It's May, and it's so great that there are fans heading back to the track tomorrow. I know that IMS is very much looking forward to having fans back there after not being able to do it during the pandemic.
Yep.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us on this Friday night. Be sure to join Angela and myself. We're going to be with you on 13 News at 11 o'clock. We'll see you then.